What's going on the clock, fans? How are you guys doing today? I have a beautiful, talented guest. I'm super excited to get to talk to. You have no idea. My guest has been seen on Muscle Fitness, MTV, NBC, obviously Howard. Oh, she was on Howard Stern, and then of course she was a former Playboy model. My guest is a Playboy centerfold. That was a cover girl. Also in her life as a Screen Actors Guild member, and then later achieving in the top 5% in her industry as a member of the $1 Million Roundtable. My guest also has many hurdles that she has gone over, had to jump through life. And while it seems like Deborah might have like a success, come easy to her, nothing can be further true. So my guest, the lovely, the talented Miss Deborah Driggs. How are you doing, man?
Hi, how are you?
I am good. I'm doing great. I am so happy that you could be a guest on the show, and again, how we got hooked up and joined. Like I told you, this is like a small young man's, I hate to say this craziness, fantasy, I guess you would say. Like, this is great.
It happens. The universe works in very mysterious ways. So
it surely
thank you.
It does. I want to ask you first, if you don't mind. I mean, how are you doing? How's family? How's everything going on? You're in California, correct?
I am. I'm in Southern California, and everything is going really well. You know, I think we're finally getting back to a routine, and LA's not 100% open, even though they're trying to make you think we're not 100% open, but
got you.
But no more masks, you know, at least walking outside now, things look relatively back to normal.
And it feels like normal again a little bit?
Yeah, it's very interesting to me because, you know, I had this feeling about 6 months ago. I thought it'll be really interesting to see when they remove this mask mandate, who continues to wear a mask. And we have a lot of people in LA that are still wearing them. So it to me, I think it's going to become more of the norm is people wearing masks.
Yeah, so you're right. So at here, city of Tampa, well, Florida in general, I don't know if we had a pandemic because it didn't seem like we did. Everybody.
No, you didn't know what COVID was. I spent a lot of time in Florida. Florida had no clue what COVID was, and I loved it. That's why I spent a lot of time there and Texas.
The beaches were open here.
Where can I go? Yeah, where can I go where I can feel somewhat like I can do stuff? And that's how I felt when I was in Florida. I was doing everything I normally would do. So but LA was completely opposite.
And that's what I heard. I got friends that are over in LA, and they told me the same thing. Like, it's rough. We have we can't go nowhere, can't do nothing. Don't believe the hype that we're opening. Like we're really not. No.
I've been to a few of my staples, you know, places that I frequent, and still requiring a mask. And I'll say, well, I thought we were done with the mask, and they're like, no, our business is requiring it.
Right.
I'm like, really, your business? Like. Why aren't you fighting that? Oh my God.
I had a hard time so at work we have to wear them, of course, whatever the case is. But I found the hard, it's so crazy to say this. So like, you know, you have a mask on, nobody can see your expression. Like nobody can see I had a hard time when everybody was like, okay, don't worry about the mask no more. My facial expressions were still like as if I was under the mask. So sometimes I used to catch me with my mouth open, like they're like, what's wrong with you? Oh, sorry, never mind. I thought I had the mask on. I look crazy, don't I?
It's so strange.
So that's good. So how's family? Are everybody good?
Everyone's good.
Yeah,
everyone's good. Yeah, we're all healthy. You know,
perfect.
Everyone's good.
I've been panicking. I got 4 kids. So I'm a former military member. So that's let me explain why I have 4 kids. Like I deploy, come home and be like, hey, honey, I haven't seen you for 11 months. And then, you know, she's pregnant with another kid. So, but I had all 4. Same thing here, man. That's the only thing I've been going crazy about, to make sure they've been healthy and they've been good to go, man. I've been really fortunate over here in Tampa to make sure they're good.
Yeah, kids are resilient. And you didn't hear a lot about the cases really affecting the kids so much. Very, very rare.
Yeah,
very rare. The kids were affected. So
I since I have you here and I jump right into some of the stuff. I've read your bio. I've read a whole bunch of stuff, and I've looked over, and I'm like, I did not know. You know, I know it sounds crazy to say like maybe life after Playboy has been hard or rough, but I was like, how did she even get started in that whole app? Because what I've seen and heard, I was like, I heard that you weren't even supposed to be there, like you weren't even supposed to be doing it, or whatever the case may be, and then you left, and then I guess you were labeled difficult or whatever because of it, and then you came back, and then boom, you're doing Playboy. So how did that all start? How did that go about?
Yeah, no, I don't know that I was labeled difficult. I kind of thought I labeled myself because yeah, so I got called in. My agent, I had been modeling and doing commercials up to this point, and in 1989, my agent called me and said that Playboy was coming out with a new book called The Lingerie Book, and they really wanted to see me for the cover. And my first question was, is there any nudity involved? And she said, I don't think so. It's for the cover. And they're really interested in seeing you. I mean, it's legitimate. So I went to the famous building on Sunset. I had never been in the Playboy building prior to this audition. Passed by it millions of times. And here I was going to the famous Playboy building. And when I got there, I was handed a robe and told to take everything off and put the robe on, and that they would call me and I'd go back into the studio and do some Polaroids. And I said, oh, I think you're confusing me. I'm here for the lingerie book, for the cover audition. And they said, yeah, well, everything we do is shows your body. We need to see your body. So here you go, put the robe on. So I put the robe on, but I left my undergarments on, which I think I had kind of like a sporty type bra with I thought like a bikini. I looked like I had a bikini on.
You're free to say whatever you like here. You're good to go.
And so I go in they call my name. I go in the studio and I take off my robe and I've got my undergarments on. And the photographer goes, well, we need to see your body. And I said, well, I'm not here to do nudity. I'm here for the cover. So we do the Polaroid. I leave and I think to myself, oh God, I'm difficult. They're not going to want to hire.
Okay, so that's
I just kind of wrote it off as an experience. I got to go to the Playboy building, but I in no way thought I would ever be back. And so when I got home that afternoon and checked my messages, I had a message saying, we would like to test you to be a centerfold. And I literally, my jaw hit the floor because I was like, what? And then I called my agent and she's like, no, it's true. We've already gotten the call. They want to test you to be a playmate.
Wow.
And I just laughed. I go, I think seriously, they just confused me with somebody else because I did not take off my clothes.
Yeah.
And I feel like I was really difficult. And she's like, no, they love you.
Yeah, they know exactly who you are.
Yeah, they love you and they want to test you. And so then I had to go through the whole, then I went into, oh my God.
Yeah.
They want me to test for Playboy. And then I was like, do I want to do that? I don't know. And, and so I kind of molded around. I was real nervous. I'd never done anything like that. And, I had a couple of swimsuit companies that I was a regular model for. And, everything I did was pretty conservative, nothing flashy or sexy like that. And so I thought about it. I asked a few people. I had an acting agent and they said, well, here's the deal. You could do it, but you're definitely not going to be auditioning for family shows or because back then it was a big deal. Nowadays it wouldn't matter, but
they prefer it now. Yeah.
Yeah. Back then you lost all your, I wasn't going to be doing a Johnson & Johnson commercial.
Right. Endorsements.
I was going to miss out on the whole family endorsements. So, and I don't know if you remember Julie McCullough. She was on a show called Family Ties.
Yes, I remember Family Ties.
Not Family Ties. Growing Pains, I believe.
Yep. I remember Growing Pains.
Okay, so she played Kirk Cameron's love interest on the show, and they pulled her off the show when they found out she did Playboy. So that's what I was up against. And so I had to make that decision. Like, do I want to make this already? It's already hard to be in this business. And now if I do Playboy, it's going to get a little harder.
Yeah.
And so I chose to do Playboy and don't regret it at all. I think it's a really cool thing to be a part of Playboy's history.
Yeah.
My issue is is a collector's item today because Donald Trump is on the cover of my issue.
Oh, that's right. Yes, yes, he is.
Yeah. And so that now it's a collector's issue. I get more fan mail today because of the president.
Right.
And I shot probably 3 or 4 covers for the magazine, and one of them came out the following month. The other one was featured in a movie. And then I did quite a few covers all around the world. You know, I had a cover in Australia, I had a cover in London, I had a cover in Asia. You know, I had covers everywhere.
So the opportunities opened up. I mean, I would assume that maybe losing family atmosphere at that time was, you know, it was rough, but I mean, it had opened up other doors.
Yeah, I just, you know, I felt that the doors that it opened were really good for where the direction of where I wanted myself to go. And so I was okay with it. And I ended up booking a lot of pilots anyway, even though people said you'll never get a pilot with Playboy. And I ended up booking quite a few. So it all worked out how it was supposed to. And, you know, I also was during the time when Hef got married. He kind of changed the way that things were done at the mansion. So I missed out on all the wild parties that everybody talked about because while I was shooting, he was planning a wedding with Kimberly. And literally they got married while I was shooting, I believe. And so the mansion completely changed.
Really?
You know?
What did it go from? You mean, I know I've only heard about, you know, read in stories and stuff. I've never experienced any of it, but I mean, I know it was wild. But what do you mean? Did the security get tighter? Did they add more plants and curtains, or like what did they?
No, it just the parties weren't the same. You know, they were a little bit more conservative. There wasn't the decadence of it all. Kind of mellowed out, and it was all about Hef and his new married life. And they had children right away. They had 2 sons, and so now you have a whole tennis court full of kids' toys, and so it was very different, you know. So when people say, "What were the parties like?" I go, "Well, I kind of missed out because
and I remember more like social gatherings and stuff."
And I remember like when they got divorced, and all of a sudden parties started happening again, and then I got to experience a few, but it still was never, you know, it changed quite a bit. So it's an amazing time in my life. You know, it's like the people that I met, the people that I got to be in proximity of, and just, you know, it elevated me in a whole different way. All of a sudden people wanted to take meetings, and I was getting called in for all sorts of different opportunities and, you know, talk shows and radio shows. I did a lot of radio shows during my time.
And let me ask you this. So like, if you like, who was like, out of all the actors, actresses, who were the most you were ever starstruck? Like, were you like, did you ever like say, oh my gosh, I can't believe I got to meet this person or that person? Like, out of everybody, I mean, I'm pretty sure it's a long list of A-listers. I'm just thinking like, who is the one that you're like, I can't believe I met this individual? So
that's a really great question.
I tried. Every once in a while it pops out there.
For me, it was Jack Nicholson.
Oh man. Mr. Jack Nicholson. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I spent an evening up at his house. A friend of mine was really good friends with him. And he didn't tell me that I was going to Jack's house. He just said, I'm up at my friend's house. Do you want to come join us for a drink? And I got up there about 6 o'clock, and it was a private gated community, and I pull in, and he had a butler, and the butler came up to me and said, would you like a drink? And I said, I'll have whatever they're having. And I went in, and there's my friend, and there's Jack Nicholson. And I didn't know that it was Jack Nicholson. And it was unbelievable. It was like, I couldn't even utter a word, because I thought anything that comes out of my mouth is just going to sound like, oh, you're my favorite actor. Ah! You know?
Right. Yeah. Starstruck a little bit. Yeah. Around what time was this? Was this like, because I'm trying to pinpoint, like, I wonder what he had going on too coming out. You know what I mean?
That would have been in 1994.
Okay. 94. So he was probably still doing, I'm a huge movie buff, by the way, just throwing that out there. I think he was doing the 3 Witches of Eastwick at the time.
Maybe.
If I'm, yeah. See, I love movies, but yeah,
he was doing
that's
a movie
cool.
called The Crossing Guard, I believe. And
was he everything that we see him as? Do we see him like, you know what I mean? It's Jack.
Oh,
Every time someone's a Jack.
He's Jack.
Yeah, he's Jack.
And he says to me, Deborah, you know what I love about living where I live? And I was like,
I love the face that you're making.
And I was
Jack
like,
Nicholson.
And I was like, no, I don't. You can tell me. And he's like, the fog. The fog comes up. And it comes up, and he's standing in front of this like big window, and then he's like, and then it goes down. It goes, and then I get this view, you know, and I'm just like, Jack Nicholson is talking about the weather right now. I have no earthly idea what the fuck he's talking about.
Right.
All I'm watching are these like grandiose motions and him talking about fog of some sort, and I'm just like, okay. What do you do?
Did he have sunglasses on too when he was talking, or was he?
Probably. I don't remember. I don't think he did, but and you know, and he's just so eccentric, you know, and like so like everything was so exaggerated, and that one I was a little starstruck on. I was like, oh my God, he's an amazing talent. And then, you know, I've met Al Pacino and met De Niro a couple times, but you know, it's like, you know, you meet these people. You might say a few words, and then you run into them like out of a different context. Like they're never gonna remember me, but it's like, oh, I met you once before, you know.
Yeah, we were in an elevator.
I realize that they meet so many people that it's not, they can't keep up with that. But yeah, I've met some heavy hitters, you know, and I've been really, really fortunate to be in proximity and meet really cool people. But yeah, I still get starstruck to this day. I always think about like who would actually right now. I'll tell you who's a really nice man, and I'm so happy I got to meet him. And he was sitting next to us at dinner, was Keanu Reeves.
Really?
And he is so nice, because we stopped at his because the guy that I was with is like this huge John Wick fan.
Yeah.
All he talks about is John Wick, and he's like, that's John Wick. And I'm like, oh my God. So I had to like introduce them.
Right.
Because I said, he's such a huge John Wick fan. And Keanu grabbed my hand and he said, oh, well, you need to watch him. And I was just like looking at my hand going, oh God, please never let go of my hand. Oh my God. You know, and he couldn't have been nicer. Like he just loved that, you know, we were talking about John Wick and, you know, whatever. I mean, he was very kind.
Yeah. All the stories I hear about Keanu Reeves too, man. I mean, I've read about the subway, how he still rides the subway. He'll give up his seat, how humble he really is. And you get this, I mean, when you hear it so much on the news and stuff that you're like, well, can it be? So it's good to hear that you, from your experience. Yeah, he's very nice. He's
so nice. And
I probably would have asked him to flip me. If he grabbed my hand, I'd be like, look, just John Wick, one move, get this on camera real quick. I promise this isn't going to be on TMZ.
My biggest regret was that I didn't, you know, and I just always feel funny trying to ask for a photo, but I'm like, you know, it's like
once in a lifetime.
But no, I didn't do that. But I think the one person today that I would like die to meet, and he's actually like, there's a whole myth about him, is Bill Murray.
Oh yeah.
I would love to meet Bill Murray. I just think there is just something so fascinating about him and so funny. He just shows up in random places and does crazy things. And I just like, oh God, please let me show up one time at one.
It looked like he'd be a lot of fun to hang out with anyway. Like he looked like he'd be like the guy to go to. Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be funny to see Bill Murray.
He's on my list of people to meet for sure.
The bug. Okay, so I hope it happens. Does he live in California? Or does he live somewhere else? Because I don't think
it's a mystery. It's a mystery. He's like a rebel. You know, he doesn't even have a phone. Like people have to call an 800 number to book him for movies. I mean, he's super interesting. Yeah,
that's funny. So I don't mean to switch too many gears.
Go ahead.
I wanted to tell you. I read one of the quotes that you had, and I got to ask about the aging gracefully is a full-time job. I've seen that everywhere pretty much. I'm looking, I'm like, this must be the motto, the mantra. Like, what is it? You know what I'm saying? Is it a full-time job?
It is. And what that is really, it's a joke, right?
Right.
Because to really age gracefully, it's a full-time job. It's like, oh my God. And you got to do all this work. Most of the real good aging is like the yoga and the balance and the right food and the right products and the right eye cream. And then, you got to get your hair done. And, and I think I got to an age where I was like, this is a full-time job, people.
Yeah, like I got to start 7 a.m.
Yeah, this aging gracefully thing is a full-time job because it's kind of a play on words, because aging gracefully is like, you age gracefully, it's not a lot of work, but it's a full-time job.
Yeah.
And so it just became a funny quote of mine. I'd be like, this is a full-time job, people.
Right. And you've done it well. You've done well.
Oh my God, yeah. And it's just like, oh my God, it's so much work. But it's fun. Funny. It's fun to I think it's fun to make fun of the things that, are right in front of you, right in front of the room. And obviously I'm 57. So
I didn't even know that. Oh my goodness. Really?
Yeah. So I'm 57. And so I try to make light of my age and appreciate where I am right now in my life, and I feel like at 57, I'm just getting started. I have a whole repertoire of things I want to do.
Well, what are some of those things that you still want to do? Because I was very fascinated about the $1 million roundtable. I was very fascinated. Like, well, how did you get involved with that? Is that something that, like you said, that you want to continue to get involved with? Is there more?
Yeah. So the $1 million roundtable is basically in my industry, in the life insurance industry, when you have sales that exceed $1 million, you're eligible to join this club. It's a club, and they do events. That you're eligible to be a part of the $1 million roundtable, and that just means that you are selling over $1 million of life insurance a year. And so I did that 3 years in a row. I was a top producer, and the thing that I think I'm most proud of is that I really work directly for the client. I don't work for the company.
Yeah.
I don't, I am not captive. I don't sell one product. I'm licensed with all of them. And so that gives me more of a field to do what's in the best interest of the client. So I had real good success with that. And it really does make a difference in how you are handling your clients' needs and the value that you can provide. And so I was really, really good, had good luck. I don't know if it was good luck, but I had 3 really good years in my industry. 2012, 13, and 14 were really good for me. And I had such strong momentum. And it's a compliment when people start referring you, when they say, oh, you should use Deborah. And that's kind of what happened. I started getting referrals, and the more the referrals came, the less salesy type stuff I had to do. So I had a really good run with that. And then, 2018, 19, I kind of stepped away a little bit and decided that I wanted to just be a referral agent. I didn't want to do it full time anymore. In 2018, I decided that I wanted to write a book, but I didn't know for sure. And then 2020 just solidified that I was going to write a book.
I might as well write the book
because everything slowed down.
It's like an all-tell-all memoir, right? Is that?
Yeah, it is. Yeah. It is the journey of how, for a really good portion of my life, everything came really easy. And even if there were dark times, things still came really easy. And it wasn't until I turned 40 that I lost everything. And the worst part of it was I lost my self-confidence. And I kind of just ended up in this dark, dark place. And I was perpetuating on this darkness. And it just wasn't getting better. And it took me a long time to pull myself out of that. And so I talk a lot about, having all this great success and things just swimmingly seem to be going along. And then, my divorce was really, really sad for me. And I talk about that. I talk about what happened after that, and then how I got into the business world and how my life has come full circle. I am now kind of right back where I started I'm working on a film on July 1st.
Oh, nice.
I go on auditions and call C's for, modeling and commercials. And I'm kind of back where I started. I'm back.
Yes.
It's so life has come real full circle for me. And so I talk about all of that. I talk about the journey. I talk about how, I understand what it's like to go through a really dark time, and that it really does take time. And
yeah, and I mean, I agree with you about dark time. Like I was telling you, I'm a 15-year military veteran. I have friends and myself. We all been to war. We did 6. I did 6 tours. We
oh wow.
Yeah, we did. We went to Iraq, Afghanistan. I mean, we had some good heavy times together. And some of my friends, I don't want to sit there and sound like I was able to get clear of it. I've had my dark times as far as mentally. You know what I mean? When you come back, it's a total 180. It's not the same, and you're not the same kind of person. But I've had guys that jumped into that darkness, and it was hard for them to climb out. What was one of the things that you really clinged on to help you push out of that dark time? Was it kids? Was it work or yoga?
Yeah, nothing outside of myself. That's the thing. Right. That's the one thing that I realized, that there was no reason strong enough to pull me out. I had to do it. Right. And I didn't have, because obviously you would think if you did have a reason, it would be kids and family and just feel better. You have 3 kids,
Yeah. Right.
But it wasn't the case. It was more about, for what really did it for me, I think, was the surrendering to the fact that it's okay. And and the minute I just finally said enough is enough and surrendered, gave up control. And it's interesting because it really does work when you surrender and you give up the control. You can't control anything or anybody. Yeah. You can only control what you do, how you react, and all that stuff. We know all this. But what's interesting is that I still go through times where I will go back into that old thinking or that old pattern and try to control. Here I am. Oh, something happened. I'm like, oh, I can, let me grab on. I can. And then it takes me doesn't take me as long now to go, really? You have no control over this. Let it go.
Right.
And so, it's a practice. It's a real practice to surrender, let it go. And, but trauma and post-traumatic syndrome and all these things, they're tricky because they can hit you when you least expect it.
I agree. I totally agree with you. Absolutely.
Sometimes things can hit me out of the blue and I'm like, whoa, where'd that come from? And I'm not really prepared for that. And so now I take that situation, whatever it is that I thought I wasn't prepared for, and I go, how can I better prepare for this next time around?
Right.
Instead of going down this rabbit hole, why don't I prepare that if this type of thing happens again, I have a set of tools or set of
something to defend.
I take that prevents a complete spin out.
I agree. It's funny you say it comes out of nowhere. So when I got back on my first tour, or my second, I think it was my second tour. My second tour, kids and why they want to go to Disney World. Let's go to Disney. Let's do all that stuff. And I was like, yeah, we'll go. We're gonna, I'm military minded at that point where I'm just like, okay, we're up by 6 a.m. We'll be eating breakfast at 7, out the door by 0800. We're gonna do all these things. And when I got to Disney World, I had almost like an anxiety attack, like a freak out, because there were so many people around me. And I was just like, and my God bless she saw that I was sweating and it wasn't from Florida weather. She's like, okay, do you need to breathe? I need a second. And she's a former military member as well. So she was able to coach me through it a little bit. I was like, okay, but you're right. It hit me out of nowhere. And then I was like, oh crap, I'm not ready to be in that type of environment. And I need to work on myself a little bit and fix whatever is going on. So I agree with you. It hit pretty hard too, man.
So for example, I'm not I don't do well in that circumstance either. Being in a crowded, loud So I'm not a person that really goes to concerts. I just don't like to be in an enclosed
me neither.
area that's loud and I can't hear anything. And
Right.
it just causes me a lot of stress. I have a girlfriend. It's interesting. I have a girlfriend that I visited in Tennessee back in October. And she was telling me that she was at that concert in Vegas. And,
oh, wow.
And yeah, she has like
I can imagine.
Intense. So she sat me down because we met and then we were going to walk down the main street in Nashville, and she was going to show, I'd never been to Nashville. And so she's showing me around, but she had to sit me down and tell me that she could have a freak out because she was in the 4th row and a lot of people around her didn't make it. She was with a group of 6 girls and they all kind of went their own directions, and she was tripping over dead bodies. And so every time she hears any type of noise, she completely it hits her on a very deep level. So she had to explain this to me because she's like, I don't want you to think that there's something wrong with me, but I could freak out if there was loud noise or whatever. And I just thought, wow, oh my God, you just don't realize how.
Fireworks was a big problem for a long time. The louder the noise, it was like, oh my God, it's another IED, or that was bad. People used to take pictures and the flash would I'm jerking and like moving around, and people around me was like, oh my goodness, what's going. But it took actually practice. I'm not gonna lie, it took practice to try to bring my, like you said, you have to bring yourself out of it a little bit. It took me a little bit to try to get back into, okay, let me fix some of these things. And you really don't get completely fixed, but you can able to, understand, okay, that's not where I'm at. That's not what's going on. I'm only in a grocery store and that was a cereal box that hit the floor. So don't go panicking. You got to kind of like work your way through it. So I completely understand. And God bless your friend. I mean, I couldn't imagine. We were trained and then we still would have, PTSD, and you would have these thoughts and these reactions. I cannot imagine as a civilian just going to go hang out for the night and then unleashing, what happened that night was unimaginable.
And I told her, I said, it's interesting. I've never met anybody that was in a situation like that ever.
Right.
So even that, like, what are the chances of meeting somebody who was actually there and in it?
Yeah.
And so we had a whole talk about that. But yeah, so life is very interesting. And I think it's really important now for me to have a really good routine, that I kind of follow. I don't follow it completely 100%, but I have structure now that's a little bit different, and it's geared for preventing those spin outs. And sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't.
Right.
And so I'm constantly like revamping it and challenging. And like I said, when things happen, I go, okay, how can I better prepare for that? That just snuck up on me out of nowhere.
We call it MET-TC is what we call it, MET-TC. And it's an acronym, but it's MET-TC: mission, enemy, time, terrain. It's kind of like I have to adapt and overcome these obstacles all the time. And that's what we're doing. So it's one of the sayings that me and the guys say, especially when the guy's like, hey man, have you guys dealt with this? And you're like, yo, you better MET-TC that and just figure out a way to adapt and overcome it. Because like you said, it's always evolving and it's a living, breathing thing, so that you have to try to work over. But I can't wait for your book. I definitely love to read books. I know in this day and age where people, you can read on your phone or sit. I actually like to sit down.
Though. I like it. It's comforting, and
yes,
I like to do both. I like to read and I like to listen to books. And so, I have found this last year that I've read some really amazing books, and it's been kind of really cool to dive into that. I had lists and lists and lists of books, like that people referred me. And then finally this year I was like, I'm downloading them and I'm just going to start chipping away and go through my list. And so it's been cool. Yeah.
That's great. And the books, it's later on this year or next year that'll be coming out?
Next year.
I
just formed a publishing company because I want to self-publish.
Oh yeah.
And so next year, yeah.
That's perfect. So I know you're a very busy woman and you have a lot of things that are going on. I would like to play a game with you if you don't mind. It's
Sure.
called This and That. It's nothing crazy. It's my way. It's called On the Clock. So now you're kind of like in the hot seat a little bit. You're on the clock.
All right.
I got
Let
these
me get
series of questions.
comfortable for this hot seat. All right.
Yeah, this is gonna be great. It's nothing too crazy, but it's just different questions. So here's This and That with Miss Deborah Driggs. There you go. So like I said, it's just a series of questions that we ask to see what you like and see what you don't like. And again, these are questions that we have a sports group, and these questions come up, and they're just wild, crazy little questions. Okay. But I'll start easy, and then I'll work my way up. So first one's first. Do you prefer pancakes or waffles?
Pancakes.
Oh, you're a pancake girl. Yeah, I'm a waffle guy. I don't know what's going on with I've never had like a really good pancake that hasn't, I don't know. Do you like the crust around the edges, or you just...
No, I like really good buttermilk pancakes.
Yeah. That's good. There's nothing wrong with that, I guess. Yeah, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. So question number 2. When you get, I see your face, like I see, you're so focused and ready. So when you're putting on your shoes, let's say tennis shoes, do you go sock, shoe, sock, shoe? Do you go sock, sock, shoe, shoe? How do you do it?
Sock, sock, shoe, shoe.
Yeah, see, there's some psychopaths out here that are putting a sock on, then their shoe. The other one's barefoot. I don't know who does this.
No. Equal attention. Attention.
I don't like my feet being cold, so I got to put them both on. So yeah, it's weird. Okay. Yeah. Third question. When you're taking a shower, okay, and you have the curtain, let's say you have a curtain shower, do you enter the shower in the front where the handles are, or do you go to the rear of the shower, enter from there?
Well, I would have to say if I have the curtain, I think I'm going in from the back, not where the shower head is.
Okay. I've interviewed several people, and it was a big debate. A lot of people that I saw, the majority go to the front.
No.
Yeah. I don't understand. Do you like super hot showers? Are you that one that takes a scolding shower?
I'm not a super hot.
Okay.
I like a hot shower, but then I like to end it with a cold plunge.
So that was my next question. Do you go hot and cold, or hot the whole way? Because, and it's crazy, I don't know what it is. I love a hot/cold shower. I need to feel rejuvenated. It's almost like dunking yourself in a bucket of ice.
You have to.
Yeah, I don't know why people don't do this. It's
really good for inflammation. So I don't like to go in those cryo rooms.
Yeah, the genic. Yeah.
I don't like those, but I like a cold plunge. So I'll dive into a 45-degree cold plunge, but I will not get in those cryo things. They don't feel right to me.
Yeah, it doesn't look right to me. I feel like I'm gonna come out like a shrunk,
I get a little claustrophobic in there too. I can't
do it. Yeah, if I'm gonna tan, I'm not gonna be in a tanning booth. I'll get the vitamin D from the actual sun. I'm not gonna do anything else. Okay, so here's the last question. If you were on a first date, what is the restaurant that you would like to go to? Is it Italian, Spanish? What is your ultimate first date that you'd be like, this is where I would like to go? Or this is what I like to do?
Well, first date, I wouldn't want to go anywhere real loud.
Yeah.
Probably something quiet and intimate so I could hear what the person was saying if it's a first date.
Right.
And if I had to choose a restaurant theme, I would probably go with either Italian or a steakhouse.
Ah, there we go. See, so we found out majority of women in this poll that they were having on Facebook and stuff would rather go to a steakhouse than, like one of these fancy schmancy Italian restaurants. Yeah.
Yeah.
What is if you can enlighten the fellas on this? Because I tell my buddies all the time, like guys that are dating, is like, take it to a steakhouse. No, you can't take it to a steakhouse in your first date. Like, she might like steak, man. Who knows?
Yeah, it's not about the steak. It's more about just the vibe.
Right.
Yeah, you have Burns in Tampa.
Yes, and Ruth Chris as well. Yep, we have both of those.
So Burns is world famous.
Yes.
Because they have probably the largest wine cellar than any restaurant in the United States.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yes. So Burns Steakhouse is one of the most famous steakhouse. I used to eat there all the time when I'd come visit Tampa.
Yeah.
But we have a steakhouse here called Mastro's. And so, Mastro's is a good first date.
place to go to, huh?
Yeah.
Well, see, so that's beautiful. So I'm gonna go to Burns. I didn't know about the. I've been to Burns about 3 or 4 times. I haven't been there for the wine or anything, but I'll try that the next time.
Yeah.
So have you been to Tampa? How many times have you been to Tampa?
Oh gosh, I've been there several times. My mother lives in Ocala.
Oh, okay. That's not far from here.
So I either fly into Tampa or I fly into Orlando. But she's lived there now since 1990. She lived in Tampa first, and she moved there in 97, 96 or 97, and spent a lot of time there because when I was married, my husband worked on Home Shopping Network quite a bit.
I like that. Was been. That's good. That's nice. That's a nice touch.
My
husband. That's how
so like he worked on Home Shopping Network, so we went back and forth to Tampa quite a bit.
That's awesome. So do you have plans on coming to Tampa anytime soon? Because if you do, dinner's on me. We'll either go to Burns or there's a beautiful, I like mom and pop shops as well. I like the small, you get good food for $8, like $8. Like it's great food. It's a lot of food.
You gotta love mom and pop shops.
Oh, absolutely. There's a Cuban spot.
I prayed for the mom and pop shops during COVID, man. I was like, God, please let them stay open.
Same here. There's a great, what I was going to bring up, but there's a great spot here in West Tampa. It's called El Gallo de Oro. It's a Cuban restaurant. It's been open for 37 years. The daughter and her husband has taken over.
Wow.
Yeah, they've taken over. They've been through their, trials and tribulations with hurricanes. And I think the restaurant at one point in that span had burned down. They had to rebuild it. So this is a famous West Tampa Cuban spot. So if you ever get the chance to come here and if you want to hit me up, email me like, hey, I'm coming to Tampa. I will get you this beautiful Cuban sandwich. You let me know, Ms. Deborah. I'm telling you right now, you're going to love it because this place is just, it's not a Burns, of course, but
it reminds me of that movie, Chef, with Jon Favreau.
Yes, I love that
movie. They made those Cuban sandwiches.
Yes, and the grilled cheese and how they did it. Yes. Oh my God. I remember
the
pickles.
That movie.
Yes.
I'm dying. I'm like, oh my God. I could eat through that whole movie. Everything he made, I was like, oh God.
Did you watch his Netflix special, The Chef, when he had
no, I have not seen that, but I know that chef. I know the chef that he trained with here in LA, and I know that restaurant. But I'm a total foodie. So when I saw that.
Me too. Every episode, there's something different that they're cooking and referencing the show and stuff. And oh my gosh, looking at that show, you're like, I'm going to go eat something right now because it's so good. So that's great.
Yep. But my friend, I can do a little plug here. My friend is putting on a concert on July 4th weekend. I'm not sure if it's July 4th or July 3rd. And Sister Hazel's performing. There's a big concert happening in Tampa. And he is putting this whole show on, first live event, in Tampa. That's and I guess it's sold out.
Yeah, but Tampa is the reason why I stayed here, I love staying here, is because Tampa is not as fast as Miami, but you have just as much stuff to do as Orlando. So like it's like a good mixture of things. So like things like that, like live concerts, they sell out quick here. People love to go out, they love to do stuff. And like I said, it's Florida, so nobody even knows what COVID is, but they're gonna go out anyway. And that's awesome that they get the live show here. July 4th weekend, perfect. And if you get more information, let me know. I'll shoot out IG and I'll promote them as well. I'm not one of those IG pages where you get those messages and then like they don't promote or say anything for like 10 weeks or whatever the case is. No, I'll promote whatever I can. Especially I don't charge nothing. I don't even care. It's all good.
Yeah. So I'll just tell you, because I'm sure he posted something about it.
Absolutely.
4th of July. Yeah. 4th of July, Tampa, Florida.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Where's the flagger here?
Is it Emily Arena or is it going to be Fairgrounds?
It's Freedom Music Events. Answers your question. Sister Hazel. Freedom.
Gotcha.
Freedom Music Events. Is that what you asked me?
Yes. Yeah. I just want. Is that the venue where it's going to be at?
It just says Freedom Music Events.
So yeah, the big concert's probably at the Fairgrounds or Emily Arena, whichever one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great.
I'm super excited. This is my friend's first live event. He does all my marketing, and so he said, "You're not going to believe this. I got asked to do a live event." And he's turned into a promoter now. And I said, okay, well, don't leave me behind in the dust with all my marketing stuff, you know.
Yeah. Don't leave me on the back burner. I got TV shows to jump on here, buddy. So that's
so he's doing a big concert. I really wanted to go and support him, but I'm shooting a movie here in LA on July 1st. So
and that's the start filming starts on July 1st.
Yeah. So my part starts filming on July 1st. And so I just need to be here the 2nd or 3rd, just in case they want to do some reshooting or whatever. So to go.
Am I allowed? Is this like it's not a Marvel Studio secret, but like, is this something I could be told about? What movie or what are you shooting and what's the role?
I could just tell you, I'm shooting a movie. The name of the movie is Neon Bleed. And I am playing the part of the mother. So my name is Vivian in the movie. Nice. And so that's probably all I can really say right now. It's, it's in production right now. It's filming right now. I think they had day one today. Day one of shooting today, and I shoot on Thursday. So unfortunately, not this one. I don't, because it's not a big role. It's a smaller role, and that's okay because my first movie out of the gate. So no, I'm excited about it actually.
That's perfect.
And so I'm here shooting, and so I can't go to Tampa to watch his concert on the 4th because I'm here. But so.
Okay, that's perfect, and I wish you the most luck on your movie. That's dope. That's so cool, man. I can't believe it. And again, I know you're a busy woman. If you ever want to jump on here again, if you want to come talk, if you want to come promote the book, promote whatever you like, you shoot me a message, time and date, and you're locked in. You're good to go.
Tell all your viewers to hit me up at my website. They can shoot me an email. If you sign up for my email list and you join me on my journey, you'll receive right away 15 tips of things that I do every day that are not, they don't cost money. These are just real simple things I write on my whiteboard, basically, of everything I do. And when you go to my website, all my social media links are there, so you can follow me on my journey. I write a weekly blog, which is really nice. And these are all things that are going to be talked about in my book. So I write a weekly blog based on something that I'm writing about in my book. And like I said, 2 books coming out next year. I'm working on a film, so things are good. And I'd love to come back for sure.
Absolutely. And you let me know. Like I said, I'm already signed up for your newsletter and all. I've already signed everything up, just so you know. I'm on this.
Perfect.
I already. As soon as we started playing, I was like, I am full in on whatever project she has going on, because I fell in love with everything that you got going on.
Did you get your 15 tips?
I sure did. I got my 15 tips. I read it with my wife, and she's like, "Are you going to do any of these tips?" I said, "Yes," because Deborah Driggs said I should do these. These are suggestions. Yay. So she was looking at me. She's like, "Are you sure?" You know how wives.
Awesome.
You sure? Absolutely. Awesome. So we're going to do them together. Because I'm that funny of a guy. Like whatever I do or whatever she does.
Yeah, I know, it's great to do together. Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Great. Then you're supportive of each other.
Well, and I think she likes to make fun of me too.
Yeah, when things go a little sideways, you go, "Hey, let's go do our 15 tips, and then we'll discuss this."
Yeah, then we'll discuss this, and I'll email you, let you know which one has worked, which one was a trip.
Exactly. Yes. Stay in touch. I love it.
Absolutely, ma'am. Everybody on the Clock Radio, we have Miss Deborah Driggs. You be beautiful, stay healthy,
Thank
and
you.
I can't wait to see what's going on in the future for you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody.
Hey, On the Clock fans, that's all I got for you. I don't have that much more. I want to thank my special guest again, Deborah Driggs, who came on board and shared her life experiences with us. I'm phenomenal. I can't wait to have her back on again, especially when her movie comes out, especially when her book also comes out, her tell-all memoir. I'm sure it's going to be a great sell. I have no doubt it's going to go number one. But also, listen, guys, if you like the show, you like what you see, hit subscribe, log on to the show. Follow us on all Apple Podcasts and anywhere you listen to your podcast, Spotify, Amazon, Pandora. We're pretty much everywhere. We got also go to our website, all right, OTC Sports. I'm telling you right now, we have so many discounts and so many different online shopping that you can do with Fanatics. Try the World. It's a famous gourmet cooking that you can subscribe to. They send you Japan and Germany and France right to your house. It's phenomenal. It's beautiful. You also want, you sports fans, Fanatics. I have it. Go down to our website. You're going to see all different types of codes. codes. I'm going to put it right here in the comment section of YouTube. You'll see it as well. Military discounts. It's going to be beautiful, especially since the 4th of July is right around the corner. I know you guys love to do that. Support your favorite team, whichever that may be. And last but not least, also Dr.Squatch soap. I love that freaking soap. Smells good. Your woman's going to love it. I'm telling you, it's going to make you feel like a man, manly man that slays dragons. You know what I'm saying? So it's good stuff. Everything you need will be in the comment section. Don't worry. Come on back. And don't forget, man, you're on the clock.